Aquaman makes $1 billion. Aquaman makes $1 billion. Aquaman making $1 billion. Red Entertainment, guys, what is up? Akasan here, Comics Plus News. Yo, Aquaman just crossed $1 billion at the box office. You know, my boy, there are a lot of happy ass. Hey, camera, I'm over here, baby. I'm over here. You know, there are a lot of happy ass Polynesian dudes up there like doing the haka dance. $1 billion, baby, and they in that money right now. They in that money. Come on down here, camera. Here we go. All right, yo, what is up, guys? Let's talk about this Aquaman, and that shit ain't. It's not even in. It's not even out in Japan yet. Y'all don't believe me? Look at this shit. That's what I'm talking about. This shit comes out in February for me, so I am glad that I was able to check this movie out in Cebu before my Cebu trip went to shit. So a lot of you are probably wondering, this is the first DCEU movie to cross $1 billion, and that is a big fucking deal. That is a huge deal for Warner Brothers, and on top of that, that's going to be a lot for the change of the DCEU and why we probably will not be seeing Batman and Superman for a very long time. This one's coming from Forbes magazine. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is before it hit $1 billion, so I'll be reading it changed a little bit. Aquaman may not be the top movie of the weekend, but it's still the proverbial top dog or fish of the moment. The Jason Momoa Amber Heard DC film flick earned $4.5 million on Friday to bring its domestic cum to $275 million after 22 days in theaters. That positions it for a 15.4 million weekend and 286 million 24-day cum. I wonder how long it took The Dark Knight to pass, but I guess it's a little different considering the 3D and inflation and all that stuff. All right, Aquaman. Let's see. When Aquaman making $1 billion here, what that means is that it's the third DC Comics flick to top 1 billion after The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, without 3D in China there, okay. Interesting. But it'll be the third biggest DC Comics movie, the biggest DC Films earner, and the second biggest non-sequel solo superhero flick behind only Black Panther. Among all solo superhero movies, it's behind the Dark Knight sequels, Iron Man 3 and Black Panther. It's already the biggest solo superhero movie outside of inflation and exchange rates, behind Batman, Spider-Man, Iron Man, or Black Panther. It's the first movie not released by Walt Disney or Universal Comics to gross over $1 billion since Paramount's Viacom's Transformers: Age of Extinction back in June of 2014. And after that, once it tops that flick, it'll be the biggest grossing such non-Disney, non-Universal effort since Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. That film opened 2 weeks after Transformers: Dark of the Moon in July of 2011. It makes James Wan one of 8 directors, counting the Russo brothers as a single unit, to have 2 movies in the $1 billion club alongside Chris Nolan, Michael Bay, Peter Jackson, Joss Whedon, Pierre Coffin, the Russo brothers, and James Cameron, Titanic, and Avatar. Very interesting. So that's good stuff right there. And here's the interesting thing that I want to point out at this point in time, guys. Can we officially just drop this idea of the Rotten Tomatoes DC conspiracy theory, paid critics, all this other bullshit type of stuff? Look, Rotten Tomatoes currently, Aquaman sits at 64%, which is good. Audience score of 79%. Critics, it's their job to point out. Critics like bad movies, but it's their job to point out the faults of the movie. Was Aquaman a great movie or well written? Not necessarily. Did it make sense? Yeah. Did it have a beginning, ending, middle, and it for the most part got the job done? Yes, of course. That's what made it fun. And it wasn't setting out to, there's movies that are supposed to be like really have a lot of depth, like we can say Man of Steel or Batman v Superman or whatever. That sometimes it will just not hit the mark. I just saw something Zack Snyder uploaded a few days ago about like his idea of how Justice League would have ended, like very cryptic and such. And yeah, there's a lot of depth in that, but it's not for everybody, and it doesn't always hit the mark here. And that's the thing. That's the beauty of trying to make a good film, because timing is everything sometimes, and sometimes there's some movies that are that missed its mark, I suppose, like The Shape of Water. So I sometimes feel like I was born too late or too early. Nevertheless, I think at this point we can all agree here that regardless of what critics I think it's all about the feel, timing, and what the audience gets out of things, the way something is presented to you. The thing I've noticed the most about this was the fact that with Aquaman, this is the one director from the DCEU that really didn't talk shit about anybody else, just kept his mouth fucking quiet and just was like, wait for the movie, you're gonna enjoy the movie, just wait for the movie. I'm not comparing it to anything because it's not like anything else. Just check out the movie. Trust me, there's a track record on all those other films. Well, I guess Patty Jenkins didn't say shit about any other brand or whatever. So, anyways, all that being said, what I'm saying is what really matters is the wave of how things change. And I'll never forget, for me personally, I think it was really that special look trailer that came out of Aquaman that's when I felt like the buzz start to change, because a lot of people, rightfully so, were burnt out after Justice League and basically felt the DCEU was dead. But it wasn't until that, for me personally, I felt it wasn't until that special look came out. And I remember M-Dog, I watched it with Ecomog there. I remember M-Dog was just saying, James motherfucking Wan. And, that shows his modesty and such of the fact that he's like, nah, just wait till it comes out. You guys are going to see some good stuff. And it was that special look where I really started seeing the tides change, no pun intended. So that's what that is on that. And lastly, the only other thing that I want to be talking about here is the inclusion of, with Aquaman's success, that does mean the fact that we're going to have a little less Batman and Superman to be relying on nowadays here. That was one of the biggest concerns and one of the reasons why we haven't really heard much about Batflick going on right now. Affleck, has kind of been down out of the question for quite some time, and then Henry was slowly, quietly slipping away from even coming back as Superman for right now. And it's really because the times have changed now. I was reading this article here that was just saying how times have changed, and honestly so, since BVS, that the Batman and Superman unfortunately are not a very bankable situation at this moment in time, and that might be for the better or worse, however way you look at it, because I know a lot of people, I remember leaving Justice League and just thinking to myself, well, they tried to be like the Avengers, they tried to have their Avengers blockbuster without the thought put into it. Now let's just have them focus on solo movies, and I think Aquaman hitting $1 billion, the first DCEU movie to do that, does show that there is room for that to do it. To have strong solo characters that aren't named Batman or Superman. And I think a lot of DC fans, true DC fans out there, will be very happy to see that it is possible to do that. That you can have a Suicide Squad movie and have a sequel and it still do well, regardless of what some might think about them, those movies. You know, but at the same time, it is a bit sad because you do want Batman and Superman to be at the forefront of things at times. But I do feel like at this time, maybe that's not what Warner Brothers needs right now. The studio interferes when they need to interfere, and unfortunately, it just doesn't work out with what Zack Snyder originally set out to do. I still doubt that his original vision was going to be making billions of dollars, or at least $1 billion for Warner Brothers. So I see where Warner Brothers can be going in this direction of just Wonder Woman, Aquaman. Let's see how Shazam does, and just keep on building it up. And maybe that's for the better idea. Let's put Batman and Superman on the burner for about 3-4 years, and maybe 5, and see what happens when they come back better, stronger than ever. And that's it, folks. Aquaman breaking $1 billion here. Still hasn't come out in Japan. I'll be seeing it soon. I can't wait to see it again in 3D with the goddamn subtitles blowing out at my face. Red Dread Nation, stand up, speak up. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think about all this? Are you down for? Are you happy for its success? Does it deserve it? I think it does. Who would you like? What other movies would you like to see? Do you want to see a sequel? What else should the DCEU be focusing on here? Because they are making a very strong comeback. I'm out of here, guys. Take care of yourselves. I'm out. Mahalo.